Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to tackle the passive voice, a grammar structure that's an absolutely essential tool for clear and professional communication, especially in the tech world. Mastering it isn't just about memorizing rules, it's about making your technical writing really shine. So here's what we've got on tap. We'll start with why the passive voice is such a big deal in tech. Then we'll dig into how you actually build it. After that, we'll see it in action, go over some special cases, and finally look at some advanced structures that will seriously take your writing to the next level. So why do we even need the passive voice? Well, in technical and formal writing, it's not just some random grammar rule. It's a strategic move that lets you control the focus of your sentences and keep things sounding professional and objective. Okay, so check this out. It's all about where you put the spotlight. In the active voice, the developer fixed the issue, the focus is totally on the developer. But when we flip it to the passive, the issue is fixed, the spotlight moves to the issue. The person who did it, well, they kind of fade into the background. And that's the big question, right? Think about it. When you're writing bug reports, system notifications, or formal documentation, what's usually more important? The fact that an action happened is often way more critical than who did it. And that is exactly where the passive voice becomes your best friend. Okay, so we've covered the why. Now, let's get our hands dirty with the how. In this section, we're going to break down the nuts and bolts of forming the passive voice correctly, no matter what tense you're using. You're going to love this. The formula is super simple. It's just a form of the verb to be plus the past participle. Now, this only works with what we call transitive verbs. You know, the ones where someone does something to something else, like upload the files. That something else is what becomes our new subject. And the best part is, this formula is incredibly flexible. The be verb just changes to match whatever tense you need. The data is stored, the issue was fixed, or the update will be deployed. See? The main structure stays the same, which makes it really powerful and easy to use. All right, this is where the rubber meets the road. Let's look at the real-world situations in tech communication where choosing the passive voice is absolutely the smartest move you can make. The key thing to remember is this isn't random. You use the passive voice on purpose. You pick it when you don't know who did something, when it's obvious or just doesn't matter who did it. Or, and this is the big one, when you want to put all the emphasis on the process or the final result. That's how you get that formal, objective tone you see in professional documents. Here's a classic example you'll see all the time. Who discovered the bug? A specific tester? The whole QA team? We don't know. And honestly, for this sentence, it doesn't matter at all. The important facts are that a bug was found and when it happened. The focus is right where it should be. Now, just because we're using the passive voice doesn't mean the doer has to disappear forever. If knowing who did the action is actually important, you can bring them right back in with a by phrase. In this case, knowing the report was prepared by the data analyst gives us some pretty crucial context. All right, you've got the basics down. Time to level up a bit. Let's look at some trickier, but really common ways you'll see the passive voice used all the time. So what happens when you've got a sentence with two objects, like client and refund? Well, you actually get two choices for making it passive. You can start with the person, the client was given a refund, or you can start with the thing, a refund was given to the client. And guess what? They're both totally correct. They just shift the focus slightly. Adding words like must, can, or should is a piece of cake. The structure is just modal plus be plus the past participle. You'll see this all the time in user guides and official procedures for things like the files should be encrypted. It's perfect for giving instructions. And we can do the same thing for the past tense, which is super useful for talking about things that were supposed to happen, but maybe didn't. The backup should have been completed is a great way to talk about a past requirement that wasn't met. It's a really handy structure for incident reports. Okay, let's dive into our final section. These next few structures are the kind of details that really separate good English users from great ones, especially when you're writing in a technical field. Now, this is a really subtle point, but it's super important. The account was locked describes the action of locking it, but the account is locked describes the result, the state it's in now. It's not about an action happening, it's about the current status. We call this the stative passive. And trust me, you'll see these stative passives all over the place in tech. A big clue is that they often use prepositions that aren't by. Words like equipped with, connected to, or limited to. These are phrases you absolutely need to know for describing system features. I'm sure you've heard this one before, the get passive, like the file got corrupted. It's super common in spoken English, and it's totally fine when you're chatting with coworkers. But in any official report or user documentation, you're going to want to stick with the more formal be passive. The file was corrupted. And one last thing, let's clear up a super common mix-up. These ing and ed adjectives. It's simple, really. The ing form describes the cause of the feeling. The instructions are confusing. The ed form describes the effect. The users feel confused. Getting this right is a game changer for clarity. So, as we start to wrap this up, think of mastering the passive voice as unlocking a new achievement in your professional communication toolkit. It's a skill that really signals precision, formality, and expertise. All right, so let's do a quick recap. The passive voice is built with be plus a past participle. Its main job is to shift the focus from the person doing the action to the result of the action. It's your go-to for formal objective writing, and you can make it even more powerful with modals and stative forms. And that's a wrap. So, I'll leave you with this. Think about the next technical document you have to write. Where can you use what you learned today to make your message even more focused, formal, and effective?